Have you ever felt weighed down by anger or resentment? What if I told you that forgiveness is not just about letting go, but rather it's a science backed way to heal both your brain and your body? Hi, my name is Precious, and one of my bachelor's of science is in psychology. Let's talk more about this. So, forgiveness is the conscious decision to let go of resentment and revenge even when the revenge is justified. So it's not about you excusing the harm or the behavior, but rather it's about you freeing yourself from it. So in this video, we're going to talk about how grudges affect your brain and your body. We're also going to talk about the neuroscience of forgiveness. And lastly, we're going to just touch base on some practical tips and steps. So you may be wondering, how exactly does holding on to grudges affect my brain and my body? Let's start with the stress response. So when we're talking about stress, one of the main area in our brain that we focus on is our amygdala. So our amygdala is the brain's fear and stress response center. It becomes essentially overactive when you hold on to grudges and anger. This does trigger a flight or a fight response, even when there's no immediate danger around you. So when you actually hold on to anger, resentment, it keeps your body in a constant state of stress, which affects your body's homeostasis. This increases your cortisol levels, it impacts your heart rate, it lowers your immune system because when your body is in a state of stress, it's not thinking about your immune system, is just thinking about you surviving, fight or flight state. And it also impacts your blood pressure because of that. Because stress disrupts your body's homeostasis. So there's just an imbalance of things going on when they shouldn't be going on. This is why stress, especially chronic stress, is extremely detrimental, not only to your brain, but to your body as well. So resentment feeds these negative thought cycles because unforgiveness keeps your brain focused on the hurt. Now, the cool thing about the brain is that your brain actually cannot tell the difference between your past and your present. So when you're constantly thinking about the past, your brain is thinking that that's constantly or currently occurring to you in this moment, when in reality, that was just in the past. Doing this reinforces those feelings of anger, of depression, and even sadness because your brain thinks it's currently happening right now, even though it happened in the past. Studies have actually showed that people who hold grudges, like chronic grudges, are actually linked to having higher physical pain and tension. This is probably likely due to the stress occurred. And you may not know this, but unresolved anger is actually linked to a reduced in your lifespan because it has such a huge effect on your cardiovascular health. Okay, now let's talk about the neuroscience of forgiveness, my favorite. So let's talk about the role of the prefrontal cortex. In most of my videos about neuroscience, I always talk about the prefrontal cortex because it plays such a huge role in topics like this. So your prefrontal cortex is responsible for decision making and emotional regulation. It helps you process and reframe these hurtful experiences that have happened to you. So when you engage in forgiveness, it strengthens this region of your brain, your prefrontal cortex, and allows you to have a much stronger emotional control. When you forgive, your amygdala calms down. This reduces the stress response and promotes that feeling of peace. So here are some steps to practice forgiveness effectively. The first step is for you to acknowledge the hurt. You don't heal by trying to pretend it never happened to you. You don't heal by running away from that pain. That's just not how it works. Because when you do that, one day, everything is just going to catch up all to you. Forgiveness does not mean denying your pain. What I want you to do is I want you to acknowledge the hurt and allow yourself to feel those emotions. You can write down your feelings, or you can tell a trusted friend or someone you care about and someone who cares about you back. The second step is for you to shift your perspective on that situation. I know this sounds absurd, but I want you to think of that situation from that other person's point of view. Now, this does not excuse their behavior at all. I'm not saying that it does. However, it can help you realize that certain struggles, certain things stem from other people's struggles. So the people who hurt me in the past, I realized that they hurt me because they were hurt. And that doesn't mean that them hurting me was okay, because I've been hurt in the past and I don't go out of my way to hurt people. So it's not you justifying their behavior, it's just you trying to understand it from their point of view. The third step is for you to make a conscious decision to forgive that person. Forgiveness is an active choice. It does not just happen automatically. This actually helped me because when I remembered a hurt from the past, I shifted my perspective, and I shifted it from a place of revenge and resentment to a place of gratitude and thankfulness. And I know this sounds so weird, but I realized that if I had not gotten hurt, then I would have done those same behaviors and the same actions that led me to that in the future, and I would have gotten hurt more until it would have just been this cycle of hurt until I finally got the lesson. So I shifted my perspective and I just made a choice to forgive that person. It was easier for me to forgive that person even though they don't deserve it, when I shifted it to I'm thankful that I went through that experience with that person, because now I've learned from it, I've grown from it. I don't need to make that same mistake again. The fourth step is for you to practice forgiveness for yourself. I know oftentimes it can be so hard to forgive yourself, especially when you tell yourself things like, I should have known better, I saw the red flags and I ignored it. People make mistakes. That is okay. Mistakes are a part of the human experience. What matters is what you learn from those mistakes and the actions that you take after learning from those mistakes. So don't beat yourself down for making mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. The last step is, like I said, shift your mindset from resentment to gratitude. And lastly, seek professional help if you need to. Forgiveness is a gift that you give yourself. It's freeing your mind, your body, and your soul. It heals your brain and allows you to move on with so much more peace and clarity. So remember, forgiveness is something that you have to make a conscious decision to do every single day. I want you to do that, because free yourself from that cage, from that prison that you're putting yourself in constantly, because your brain truly cannot differentiate between the past and the present. Let me know if you'd like me to further explain this video or just any video you'd like me to just touch base on. That is all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.